holistic nutritionist. I am a lover of simple recipes with really good quality ingredients. And that is exactly what this dish is today. My sweet potato black bean chili is packed with so much flavor, so much goodness, so many vegetables. Your belly is gonna be smiling and your taste buds are gonna be joyous when you're eating it. So this recipe makes a big batch. So if you're making it for a family, awesome. Everyone will be satisfied. Or if you're making it just for yourself, then you have delicious leftovers. So let's get to it. You have a lot of chopping to do, but don't worry, it's gonna be totally worth it because it tastes amazing. So first off, you're gonna peel your sweet potatoes. If you notice, most recipes, I don't peel the sweet potatoes, but sometimes in soups and stews and chilies, I like it better because I hate when the peel kind of like falls off. And then you have the peel separate from the potato. Does that make sense? But don't peel the potato if you don't want to. So you're gonna just chop it into bite-sized chunks, and then you're gonna chop all of your other vegetables. So we've got your carrots, you've got your celery. Again, it doesn't have to be, perfect chopping. As you can see, I do it quickly. I just roughly chop everything. And then we've got, for some bright color in there, we have some yellow sweet pepper, but of course you could use red, you could use green sweet pepper, whatever you have on hand. Then next we're gonna chop up our onion and our garlic. I don't know what the deal was with this onion. Onions, I'm definitely sensitive to them, but man, I had like mascara running down my face. This onion was so strong. Okay, so as you can see, I save all my kitchen scraps because, as a side note, I always compost so that I can reduce how much garbage I put out there. So compost all the scraps because you're gonna have a lot. So now for the flavor. Of course, because I have such a wide variety of vegetables, I've got lots of phytonutrients, which means so many different flavors, but I am gonna pack it with some really potent, delicious spices. So I've got some cumin seeds here, I've got some cayenne, some red chili flakes, and I've got some paprika. So there's lots of heat in this, which is gonna make it really wonderful if it's really cold where you are and it's getting cold where I am. So this is a chili that's gonna warm you from the inside out. So you notice I'm using whole cumin seeds. If you have ground cumin, that's perfectly fine. Because if you notice, I'm actually gonna use my mortar and pestle. Did I say that right? I never know if I say that right or no. Mortar and pestle. Yeah, you know the thing where you like grind your own spices? So I have like a little marble one. Damn, that thing's heavy. Anyways, I like grinding my own spices, but you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to do that if you wanna save time. So I've added my ground cumin that I ground myself into my onions. So I'm sauteing my onions and my garlic with some extra virgin olive oil on like a low to medium heat. You want a little bit of sizzling, but you don't want any burning. So you want to cook those until they're starting to get like soft and translucent. And then whenever I'm making like a super chili, like add your harder vegetables first, like the ones that are gonna take longer to cook. So that's why I add my carrots and my celery first, because they'll take longer. Then I add all my sweet potato. Then I'm going to add my sweet pepper last, because that is the vegetable that is going to cook the fastest. As you can see, my pot is getting like pretty full, and now I'm gonna add some canned tomatoes. If you are against canned foods, because I know I often get comments about that, you can absolutely use fresh tomatoes and chop them up. So I'm using 2 large cans of tomatoes, but if you want, depending on like how large your potatoes are, you may actually need to add a little bit more liquid. So you could do one of 2 things. You could add some more tomatoes, or you could add a little bit of water. So I know you can't smell it, but it smells so good in here right now. Oh, this recipe is just, the flavors mingle together so beautifully. And this is the kind of recipe as well, like the longer you let it sit and simmer, the richer the flavors get. Now I do warn you, I actually kept the spices a little bit on the tame side because I have a 5-year-old and she even thinks that ginger is spicy. I think she's a super taster. So modify it. Like what I would suggest if you're making this for someone who doesn't like spicy foods, add half of the amount I recommend and then taste test it and add more as you go along. Because the thing is, you can always add more, but it's hard to subtract. So if you add in way too much cayenne, yeah, you're gonna just have to kind of deal with it. I almost forgot. Don't forget your black beans. Now, as you can see, I'm using canned black beans, but if you want to use dried beans and cook them yourself, definitely do that. I am making this for convenience. So I'm adding 2 cans of black beans to this because it's a sweet potato black bean chili. That gives us some plant-based protein and lots of fiber. That's the great thing about this chili is it's gonna fill you up. So once you've got all your ingredients in there, let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. Basically, you want all of the vegetables to become a little bit tender. You don't want to be like, breaking your tooth on eating a raw sweet potato. But it is about like 20 to 30 minutes. And then anytime, just reheat the leftovers for like 5 minutes on the stovetop. So this recipe will serve 6 to 8, depending on how hungry the people are that are eating this. It freezes well, so you can freeze it in mason jars. Just make sure you leave about this much room, at least an inch at the top, so the bottle doesn't break, but you can freeze it for up to 3 months, store it in your fridge for up to 7 days. If you make this chili in a stainless steel pot, do not put that stainless steel pot in the fridge because tomatoes, acidic, react with the stainless steel. So don't do that, transfer it. I always transfer it to either a glass jar or I have silicone food containers that I use as well. You might be wondering what to enjoy this with. Well, I have 2 suggestions for you. I have my sweet potato savory biscuits, but if you're like sweet potato Joy, that's over the top, okay, then don't do that. I also have my almond rosemary flatbread. I have linked both of those. Or you know what, cornbread muffins actually. How convenient. My cornbread muffins in the Joyous cookbook would also be really, really delicious in this recipe. And like most soups and chilies, you're in for a real treat because if you do have leftovers, the flavor gets even better, as you probably already know, the next day. So guys, I love it when you make my recipes. So if you're on Instagram, I'm on there too. Tag me at Joyous Health if you make it, and I will reshare it with my community. And I just love seeing that you guys are embracing healthy eating and loving my recipes. So the full recipe is in the description box, as well as the link to those other recipes that I mentioned. If you like my recipe, give me a thumbs up. When you make it and you enjoy it and your taste buds are smiling with joy, make sure you comment below and tell me how much you loved it. And hit the little bell because that's how you know when I have a new video. And of course, subscribe to my channel. Have you subscribed yet? Okay guys, so I guess that's it. I'm gonna go because I'm gonna go enjoy some leftovers of this chili right now. Bye!